Okay.
The big hand is on the 11, and the little hand is on the 30.
Shouldn't it be between them? Shouldn't the big hand, little hand be between them? Right. This is the...
I'm told I got that backwards. Whatever.
This is the DCRUP working group. If this is the wrong flight for you, the door is back there. Note well slides, the usual. This is our agenda for, all right, we'll do it that way. This is the note, please note the note well, your obligations, et cetera, under intellectual property and so forth, the IETF. Our agenda, quickly bash, otherwise we can just get started. John is pretty much going to run the show for us here today. I believe the DKIM usage document is with the RFC editor now. Thank you everybody for helping and contributing. The DKIM ECC document, I think we have consensus that we are going to let this drop. If I got that right. Let's see all nods and so forth. So last document then is John, and John is not a document. The last document is DKIM crypto, and John is going to lead the discussion on open issues. Yes.
I'll point out that was 9 minutes of the agenda done in about 9 seconds.
Hey.
Come to the kernel group, man. We are the fastest draft per minute.
Yeah.
Except for that time that you said we're going to adopt the document, and it turned out the document was in last call already.
Well, we can try and do that.
I'll get it all. So this is a light load work.
Okay. There are, as far as I know, two remaining questions on this document. The larger question is it defines two new signing algorithms. One is RSA with hashed keys, and the other is ED25519. And yeah, hold on a second. There we go. How about that? Okay. Yeah. Hi, Barry. Yes. Defines two algorithms. There still seems to be some question whether we need both of them, since they both solve sort of the same problem, except they solve it differently. Assuming that we are still interested in the elliptical curve algorithm, there are two versions there's two versions of ED25519. There's the pure version, and there's the hashed version. And my document has said to use the pure version because the canonicalization already hashes stuff. However, everybody who knows about these crypto libraries tells me that the only one anybody's actually going to implement is the hashed version. Okay, and so after beating back some suggestions like, oh, you can simply unwind all of the code that does the hashing and give us yeah, we're not going to do that. People who know more about crypto than I do, excuse me, tell me that rehashing the hash will waste time, but won't make things any worse. So the proposal now is where it says to use the pure version of ED25519. In fact, we're going to use the hashed version, and even though the input to it is already hashed. So the first question is does everybody think that is fine? And then we're going to back up, and the question is, okay, are we actually going to do both of these? And if the answer is no, which one do you prefer? So why don't I dispose of the second one first, since there seems to be everybody seems to agree, like, fine, hash it twice, whatever. Yes, okay.
Jimmy shot thumbs downed it, but he's not getting up to the mic. So.
No, Jim did a thumbs up.
He did? I'm sorry. I saw this.
No, I can get them offline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So the other question is, are we going to do both? Should we do both of these, or should we only do one? And I sent out, I sent out a note explaining the advantages and disadvantages of both. I mean, either one of them solves the problem that broken DNS provision systems can't handle long key strings in text records. So the bad, let me see. The bad thing about ECC is that the libraries are only slowly becoming available, so it'll take a while before we can do it. The bad thing about hashed keys is that there is a patent, the status of which we don't know. I gather because even though the author is in the room, he no longer works for the company that owns the patent rights. No, it's Cisco, who historically have been pretty reasonable, but we don't know. So that's where we are now. I encourage, if it were up to me, I would just say, leave them both in, it's fine. But since we're all here in the room, I encourage people, I encourage anybody who disagrees with me, or even who agrees with me, to tell me why I am right or wrong.
All right, I'll bite. This is Jim Fenton. So in addition to the IPR issue, and I guess my preference is for ECC of the two, just because I would just not like to have my name involved with an IPR issue, partly. Okay.
Yeah, your name's not in the draft. We just know who you are.
Right. Yeah. Well, actually, my name's on the on the IPR disclosure.
Right.
So I don't like the idea of doing both simply because it potentially makes implementations bigger. It's one more reason not to interoperate. And I would, if we've got one way of doing something that works, we should pick one. And I don't feel strongly about which one, but I told you my preference and why. So
yeah.
that's where I stand.
Okay.
Neil Jenkins. I just agree that I think in general it's better to pick one than to have two options. If we think they're both fine, then it doesn't matter which one we pick. But again, it reduces the amount of implementation overhead and also increases the chance of interoperability.
Yes. It just, while you're standing there, if you had to pick one, which one would you pick?
I haven't read them in enough detail to pick one yet. Sorry, cop out.
Jim.
I hope I actually was paying enough attention. We're talking about the two ED algorithms.
No. We're talking about RSA versus ED.
Oh, do ED RSAs?
Okay.
Neil again. Yeah, not having read them in enough detail, it's a bit, but I would in general probably agree that I would pick ECC over RSA and hashing it.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that the implementations are within the DKIM code. The implementations are within 3 lines of the same complexity. You're just calling different libraries. So it's entirely a crypto issue.
Does anyone want to? Barry.
This is Barry. So I suggest that the chairs post a message to the list asking if there are any objections to just going with ECC and see where we get.
That would be fine with me. I will be, if that's what we decide, I can certainly chop out the dead language in a matter of minutes.
So yeah, the consensus on the room to be confirmed on the list is just do elliptic curve. And
Yeah.
we'll do that, right?
Yeah, and the elliptic curve we will do is the double hash version for implementation reasons, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're going to sign the digest is what you're really doing. Don't think of it as a double hash. Think of the signature as a black box.
Yeah.
What you're signing, the fact that the signature does a hash is outside of the scope of this.
Yeah.
What you're presenting to be signed is a hash. Is a digest.
It's a digest, except that we are then using the non-pure version that, I think I can get the language right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And so for the mailing list, I think Rich can get the language right for the question on the mailing list. And I specifically suggest that we just ask for objections.
Okay.
And not go any further.
Okay.
And I specifically like the way that Rich described it just now. Signed a digest. I think that's very clear and doesn't make it seem like we're doing something kind of weird, something that should raise the concerns of the crypto people.
Okay. Okay with me. Anything else?
You have direction to go
Well, my direction seems to be to wait for you guys to send the message, and unless I hear screaming from North America, chop out the dead bits and we're done.
Right. The dead bits being the whole RSA. Okay, that works for me. Does anybody recall Ecker's preference? He lamented, I'm sure lamented is a strong word, he couldn't be here today because of the conflict with another working group, but obviously he wants to know what we decide here, so.
Ecker spent a lot of time insisting that if we were gonna do key hashes, we needed to do key hashes everywhere. Okay, but now we're gonna do key hashes nowhere.
Yeah, okay.
So my recollection is that he's fine with ED.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess Phil can't use the Meet Echo queue, so he's posted something in Jabber. And he says, once you are signing a digest, you lose the alleged proof on the direct signature approach anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe, okay. Keep the mic close to you. Likes the maze.
Yeah, Martin Thompson said that actually, I think this was in the latest version of the draft, but I'm not sure I posted it. There is an obscure attack where you can reverse engineer a key from the signature, and even if it's not the right key, it's a key that will work, which is why he liked the thing that put the key in the signature, so you could make sure that you hadn't done this reverse engineering. RSA is subject to this. I don't know whether ED is.
Look, no, the deterministic DSA isn't. If it's the one I'm thinking of, but yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyone have or imagine any new business that the working group should take up? Okay.
I'm in the middle of marking the crypto document as dead. So.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. We got
Yeah, this is not new business. Anybody who knows people over down the virtual hall in the DMARC group, sorry, they might. We if we're going to add these to DKIM, we should probably add them to ARC too.
I would suggest that John go talk to Kurt and Seth, who are working on the ARC document, and put that bug in their ear, and perhaps work with them on wording.
I talk to Seth all the time. That should be easy.
Since we're nearing the end of processing the crypto document, I'll be looking for a shepherd. If there's anybody who's dying to do it, Barry will do it. Okay, thank you. I'll put you on there now.
Okay, then, unless we anticipate any new work, thanks for coming to the second and final meeting of the working group. Alexi, you want to say something?
No, I'm very. Did we just start earlier this year?
Yeah, this is the second meeting. Yeah, we just
Gosh,
week.
I think that's very fine to have working groups like that. I assume I'm going to get the publication request if things go well before Christmas.
I can't imagine why not.
Okay. No, I'm just trying to do my own planning of when I will get that. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you all.
We've got the blue sheet.
Yeah, if you haven't signed, blue sheets are right here. That's only the one. Yeah, so if you haven't signed the blue sheet, come up to the front of the room. Otherwise, go to lunch. Does anybody want a fidget cube? All right. Anybody do the fidget? Yeah. Anybody?